You guys killed over 1,000 enemy combatants?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We smoked a lot of people on that deployment. A lot.
Wow, 1,000.
Not all bullets, though. It was a lot of bombs being dropped. We were killing people every night, though.
Let's go back to that first mission. It sounds like 2 Rangers were killed that night.
Oh, no. Cool story. Keith, when he got shot through his nods, the bullet did not penetrate all the way through and deflected, so he ended up not getting hit. The other guy who got shot in his nods, he was climbing up on a rooftop on a ladder, a sniper. He got shot through his nods, but I think the bullet went into his brain. It didn't kill him. He fell off the ladder, and I remember him chunking a grenade up there to kill the guy that shot him in the head. And he killed that guy. And Keith is the other guy that I knew who got shot through his nods, and the bullet didn't kill him. But when we got back, I remember Keith from when he first came in. I'm like, dude, what did that look like? He's like, bro, I thought it was a beach ball coming at me. I'm like, you could see the bullet? It was a machine gun team. Cop, Eric Ennis, those guys. They heard the call. And dude. Yeah. They heard the call of, we were pinned down pretty good. They came in and extracted us, and we popped smoke. Murphy's Law. We popped smoke and the wind blew it the opposite direction, so we had no cover, like screen cover or anything like that. Snipers trying to pick us off as we're running, so I tell Mike, I'm like, dude, zigzag. Made it back to the machine gun team, borderline hand-to-hand combat in this little, ravine. It was intense, bro. Skirted the tree line, and I shit you not, I saw the ground open up. Guy come out the ground, he lifted up the grass, and he came out of the ground, and I think we're in those times. And I think every great civilization has had these times. From Sodom and Gomorrah to the Great Flood to flood out the Nephilim, the giants that walked the earth. History just repeats itself.
What are the giants?
Well, according to the Bible, when the third of the angels were casted out of heaven and sent here, they loved women and they wanted to have babies with women. So they had babies. Those babies came out to be big giants and they roamed the earth. That's why they were destroyed. It was not supposed to be that way. So they were destroyed in the Great Flood. According to the Bible, some religions or Indian beliefs is that these giants are things that came down, were not angels, they're aliens or star people, mated with the female and had star children. Other religions believe that some beings came down from the heavens and advanced our civilization, taught us technology, taught us makeup, taught us all these things that separated us from the true innate light. This is going to piss people off, but it's my belief. It's what my ancestry believes, and it's what Rosses believe. 12 tribes of Judah, Hebrew Israelites, are what we know today as black people in America, are descendants from those tribes. And reading Exodus and how it talks about when you will be taken into captivity and scattered amongst the land, you'll forget my name, you're going to have oppressors, and you're going to be taught their traditions, you're going to do all their stuff, and you're not going to have yours anymore. If you look at every religion from Buddha, they have their God. You look at Islam, they have theirs. You look at everyone's religion, they have their deity except for black people. What is the black religion? We're all lowercase g gods, which is also stated in the Bible. Jesus, Yeshua, says, have you not forgotten or that it is written into your law that ye too are also gods? We're all lowercase g gods. We just haven't realized it. I think it's a dream, whether it's our higher consciousness that's dreaming in a different realm or it's the Most High, the God's consciousness dreaming. I mean, what point in the Bible did God wake up when he fell asleep on his day of rest in the Bible? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. The boat, the stream of life. You can also look at Jesus walking on water, the significance of water, what that is, rowing your boat down the stream, this vessel going through life, the stream of life, the steady flow of life that's continuously forever running on, to row it gently, not to get so caught up into things, attached to things, to row it gently down your stream because life is nothing more than just a dream. Everybody I've ever taken out or anything, I've always felt bad about. I've always felt that, I guess coming from a religious background, I felt that it rips out a piece of your soul. I think that spiritually, we're all connected in some way, shape, or form. We all share one thing in common, and that's the soul. It was always weird to me that when a person wakes up, they have no idea that they're gonna die. And if they did, would they change their life leading up to that point? If there was no getting around the fact that you're going to die in 2 hours from now, what would you have changed differently? And that part is what I played with in my mind. Like, did they carry on about their day? Did they have a good day? I don't know, So it was weird in that aspect of like wondering their life prior to that. And I felt like I was a young guy killing grown men, which was weird to me too. It was just weird to kill someone that was like my dad's age. But I always felt remorse thereafter. I didn't show up to the guys. I didn't show anything until I got back, my last deployment. And that's where my wife saw me crying in the car after Cop died. The plead, the cries, and everybody's jacked up, cops going in and out of consciousness, and we finally made the decision to, let's just move. We can't get pinned down here. So he passed his body up on the stretcher. And I remember him passing by and it's just white. And like when we would take cover, we'd shout like, yeah, dude, hold your breath. We'd have to go underwater to get him to safety. And yeah, he was out of it, lost a lot of blood. A few days later, yeah, a cop died. The first hospital he went to, power went out. So they had to take him to another hospital. Yeah. So that's the guy who saved my life.
I've never heard anything like that before.
We need help bad. We're about to be on CNN getting our freaking heads chopped off, Yeah, they could not drop any bombs.
Why?
Obama's rule of engagement, bro. We could not have anything with 0.1% collateral damage. Getting a bomb dropped at that time was impossible. I had pinpointed where I figured this guy was at, the sniper, found his location on the map. We called it in for an airstrike. The best they said they could do was do a flyover, show of force. So I'm calling up like, drop them on us because we're getting overrun. When we thought it was over, look at the recce team lead and I'm like, dude, do you have a grenade? And he already knew I was going with it. If they get in close, we're gonna pull this grenade, hug it, and we're gonna kill them with us, right? So he pulls out his grenade. That's where I fist bump Mike Pemberton. Yeah, we said our goodbyes. I'm like, dude, tell my wife I was not a bitch. And I'm like, oh shit, we're getting engaged by a sniper. And then it clicked what the Marines told me before coming into that area. They were like, dude, one, we cannot go with anything less than a brigade. And we're out there with less than 35 guys. Two, there's a Chechen sniper that's working that area and he's been out there for a while. He has supposed to be a big kill record. So I deduced it down to this is him. So I'm trying to do a snap bang where I hear the crack and I wait for the report of the rifle, like lightning and thunder. And I'm getting a general idea of how far away the sniper is. So I pinpoint him to this tall building. It's where I would be if I were a sniper. Zoom in, I'm looking. I'm not too sure. So I go to pick up my head and crack, bullet goes by. Look at Pemberton. He goes to roll over, crack. Bullet snaps and pops up dust next to him. Then it started getting way more accurate. Me and the team lead from recce pop up and we're almost helmet to helmet, bro. And a bullet between us, he pushes off of me, I push off of him. And the next thing I heard was the medic screaming. I killed 3 guys in a tree line. They were countering to cut off our avenue to our extraction. And I plucked 3 guys, me and my spotter. And that was my first kill as a sniper.
What was the distance?
300 yards. Like
300 yards?
Yeah, 300 yards, a little over 300. I remember looking at my spotter and like, dude, we're gonna smoke these dudes, man, before they, start shooting at us. I was shooting an SR-25 and shot the first guy. First shot missed, hit him the second time, went down to the second guy. My spotter picked up the third guy. Taking teeth, we had a suicide bomber working with the FBI and suicide bomber blows himself up in the back of a pickup truck as we're approaching him. I remember seeing one of the assault team leaders. I didn't like him, so I'm just gonna call him M. He lifts up, he flies back through the air and like something out of a movie, we get hit with the blast. Luckily, none of us got injured or hurt, but I remember hearing his body parts falling and his head was sitting in the back of on the ground near the back of the truck and the FBI guy put it up there and we pulled some teeth using our Gerber knife and stuff like that. Yeah, that was routine for us to do that, like cutting off our fingers and taking it to a compound that was not ours. I'm like, oh shit, that's eyeballs blinking in the tree line. I don't have a clear shot, nothing's really happening. And then you just see sparks erupt from the tree line and we hear man down, he's shot in the head and all this stuff. I'm laying down more so like suppressor fire as they're dragging their guys back. The dog is shot, he took around in his side. Keith took around through his night vision and Long took around through his helmet. We called up a Carl Gustav. He puts, I think it was flechette rounds. And that's when we called in the AC-130. I remember going into the tree line, seeing body parts. The first thing I came across was a hand. Then I saw the arm, legs, butt cheek, I think. Heads popped off. We were told by our commander, we have to figure out how many guys for our after action report. So we're putting the bodies together, essentially, to see how many bodies there were. And it got called off pretty quick after guys are gagging. And it's like, dude.
You guys were picking up limbs
Yeah.
and piecing bodies together
Yeah.
for an after actions report?
Yeah. Working with those guys overseas was like working with Carlos Hathcock. What I think, my idol at the time, and I to this day think is the greatest sniper, is Carlos Hathcock.
Who is that?
A Marine sniper with 93 confirmed kills in Vietnam, like one of the deadliest ones. His spotter had more, but his significance, the role that he played, the reason why we have a Barrett 50 cal today is because of Carlos Hathcock. He decided to put a scope on top of the Ma Deuce and single fire the 50 cal using a scope mounted on top that he mounted to it. Dropped a guy with it too. And his stalking story of stalking this NVA high value target, 1,000-yard stalk, taking out his target. He was not supposed to come back. It was a suicide mission. And his whole story about that, dude, it's like cutting slits in the back of his uniform to shove grass through to makeshift like a little ghillie suit and stalking this guy and taking him out was just so badass, man.
What did you find the most challenging portion of Army Sniper School to be?
Target detection. That was the hardest portion of it. Imagine 10 military items, a bullet casing, compass, protractor, dog tags, boot lace, things of that nature, and they put it out 50, 100 yards in front of you and they hide it in the woods or in an urban environment. Like one of the hardest ones I had to find was a protractor. The clear square protractors that you use on maps was taped on the side of a white cinder block wall.
Holy shit.
Taped to the side of that. And the only thing that stood out, what you had to look for as you're looking on the edges or the edge of the building, you're looking for that irregular, it goes from hard edge, smooth, and now you have little ticks on that one. Let me focus in on that. Oh, there's a protractor there, but it's clear. But I can see the ticks on the protractor, so okay, I can outline that. Finding glints, that's always easy. It's the objects that don't have glint, blends in, and you're only looking for a straight line or something that just does not fit. That was the first time I ever had to engage a person on the top of a striker on the 50 cal. When I got the call to engage this guy, I was like, what the, why? And he's V-lining straight towards us in our convoy. My PL slaps me on the helmet and he's shoot this mother, cussing me out. And I'm like, all right, put the sights on the hood of the car, put the butterfly switches on it, the butterfly trigger, and skip the rounds, 9-round burst from the hood all the way into the driver's seat. And he went. I went to bed that night, and that's when I had the dream of that guy was the ceiling fan and his arms were the blades and his head was the centerpiece where the light would be. And he started spinning and I'm strapped to my bed and it's spinning faster and faster until his body starts to rip apart in my room and he just soaks my room with blood and I'm bathing in his blood and his face stayed still and was just screaming, but no sound was coming out. I guess that was the first real moment where I had a chance to say to myself, man, I killed someone. So for you guys, you have Hell Week and for us, we have Cold Range. We march out, I believe it's a 12 or 15 mile ruck to Cold Range. A lot of guys normally don't make the time hack. So you've lost, let's say 10 guys. There's no facility you live in. It's all outdoors. It's just like Hell Week, I guess, minus the water and all the boat carrying. We carry logs and a lot of running, a lot of just physical beatdown. There's no sleep, mass exodus of guys just quitting. I thought that I was going to be that guy because I looked at everyone else and I'm like, man, they're built like, rest his soul, Pat Tillman. And I just wasn't built that way. The instructors are by this big barrel fire. All you have to do is just come over. We know you're hurt. We know you're sucking. It's cold. Just come over, got hot coffee. We got pizza and hot dogs for you guys waiting on the other side. But if you come over here, you can't come back.
Was there ever a time where you wanted to check out?
Every day.
What kept you going?
Watching other guys quit. Cell phone, of course. I have a but a cell phone charger that is solar. So you can set it out in the sun and it charges it up. And a little fanny pack. So it's a fanny pack with the little Faraday bag in it. And you put your cell phone in and I put my phone charger in and I carry my SIG. And that's the only thing that I really carry.
Let's talk about the Faraday bag. Why do you carry that?
Your guest, Tim Kennedy, actually put me on to that. It opened my eyes to having a form of communication if something does happen, and then having the secondary form of communication all the way to your emergency, which prayerfully we'll never have to get to.
Man, I don't carry a Faraday bag. Maybe I should, but have you ever heard of General Spalding.
Like my dad would show us how to lift people when they sit in the chair and you stack your hands up on top of them until you all feel the heat rise up, and then you lift the person out of the chair and they float.
He taught you how to do that.
Yeah.
Let's go into that.
So you sit in a chair, right? So you have one person on this knee, this elbow, and one at the back. Then they're all standing around you. Then they take their hands and they stack their right hand first, and then they stack their left hand on top of that. So it's a big pattern. Each one is stacking over and over until all the hands are complete. Then when the top hand says they feel the heat, and everybody's going to be calling out, I feel the heat. When it gets to the top person, they all go like this and they touch this side, this elbow, and the person at the back of the neck does that, and you lift the person up and they float.
You seen this happen?
Yeah, I've done it to my sister, me and my cousins.
Like they're legitimately floating.
Legitimately, well, you're touching them and they're in the air.
It's like some levitation stuff.
Like that, but you don't let go. You keep your fingertips on them.
Amazon, from what I understand, I had another guy that came on really well versed in the AI stuff, said that Amazon, the new Alexas, have sonar capabilities. So they will not only be able to listen to you, but they can pinpoint where you are in your house at any given moment of time.
Why?
Exactly. Why? Why would you need to know where the hell I am in my house?
Wow.
Crazy.
Unless they're giving all that information to the government or something, then why you wouldn't want to know where I'm at in my home unless you're targeting me?
Well, I mean, they're picking up algorithms in your voice, you know, with your emotions and all this
This
stuff.
is getting out of control, man.
It's scary. I've even thought about putting that EMF-proof paint on all the interior of my house. Yeah, they have a paint. You ever go into like a department store and you'd notice you'd have zero signal?
Yes, yeah.
That's EMF paint.
I look over and I can see Cop, the guy who had just rescued us. He's got his leg up on the embankment, laying down a cover fire. As I get into like cover from the embankment portion, I'm like this high in water, chest high, neck high at this point, going back up to engage, and I hear this weird slap, and I heard Cop scream. I look, his femoral artery was hit, snapped up into his body, and I remember the ravine, the water we were in, like turning different color. Look at the commander, the lead. So I grab him, I pull him in close so I could talk to him in his ear, screaming. As I'm talking to him, I feel a splash of warm water slap my face, and then he just got weightless. He goes down, I wipe the water off my face, and it wasn't water, it was his blood, and I see this right above his body armor, this gaping hamburger meat hanging out of his chest. I go back up against the embankment. Pemberton comes over, he just puts his hand inside the wound. I remember him like screaming, and I went black, bro. It's the only time in combat where I like blacked out for a second.
What do you prefer to carry?
Oh, semi-automatic, a sniper rifle. I wanted to take the bolt action, but it didn't carry enough rounds, and it wasn't fast enough to like traverse targets. My spotter, he carried a 300 Win Mag, and I saw that not the struggle that he had, it was just slower. But when he hit someone, it was definite. I would pick a SR-25 any day of the week, and the luckiest I've ever been was at 1,000 yards. A little under 1,000 yards with the SR-25. And that was my longest, furthest shot, and I think a lot of it had to do with luck. I can open it here.
Yeah, open it up, pull it out.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
No.
So that's the latest one, the P365 Macro Legion,
Jeez.
all metal.
Oh,
It's got the compensator built in on the front. That's their new optics. They've really upped the game with the optics.
it appears so, doesn't it? Oh my, bro. Oh, that feels so good. This is way different than my 365 that I bought years ago. Oh, that feels so good in my hand.
I love that weapon. She's a beaut.
Oh my gosh, dude. Dude, this is amazing, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That's my new EDC. Well, there it is. That's
Right on.
the EDC, man. I used to not be a big SIG guy. You know, in battalion, you have Glocks and we had the Beretta. So I've always been a Glock, and I did not like the Beretta until I got my hands on a SIG introduced to me by a Navy SEAL